So this is a tutorial on how to use the MiCASA GUI, the MiCASA standing for multi-taper um, circularly averaged spectral analysis, and GUI standing for graphical user interface. So this was written in MATLAB. You can see right here I'm using MATLAB version R 2016A. This thing should pretty much work in any MATLAB though, certainly any recent one. So in order to do this, we need a few things. So um, first of all, obviously you got this tutorial from the Nature Communications supplementary material. You should also have gotten the um, the code for MiCASA from there. So I've got a folder on my desktop called MiCASA version 4. That should be the version that you got. There's also this Chronix folder, and that has a few, in fact, one procedure that the MiCASA code uses, and so I'll show you how to get that. So here I've got a browser. It's open to chronix.org. The Chronix analysis software was built and maintained by Partha Mitra's group at Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory. This is essentially open source software for doing multi-taper analysis, and we're just going to use it for one routine, which is the routine that makes the discrete prolate spheroidal sequences or Slepian functions that we use in the analysis. So all you have to do is download it. Okay, and then it should go to your downloads folder. Here you can see I was practicing, so there's two versions of it, but that's okay. So then from your downloads folder, you can copy it to wherever you want. I would basically probably put it in the same folder that the MiCASA software is in, but you can do as you like. Before you do anything else, in order for MATLAB to access the Chronix code, we need to set the path. And so I just, in environment here, I clicked on set path. Here it comes, and it's going to add, it's going to ask us to either add a folder or add with subfolders. We'll add with subfolders. So what we're going to do is to pick, this was on my desktop, so we're going to pick Chronix, the Chronix folder, open it, and then we'll save it. And then once that's done, so now all of basically the whole Chronix folder and all subfolders are all in my path, so MATLAB will be able to find that piece of code that we need. Okay, so in order to run the GUI, I'm going to just copy this line, MiCASA underscore GUI underscore v4, and I'm going to, oh dear, okay, I'm in the wrong, I'm not on the desktop. So let's go to the desktop. Good. So I'll run it, MiCASA GUI. In fact, I think we have to go inside. So here, if I type ls, it gives me the folders on the desktop. We should probably go inside MiCASA-v4. Okay, and then you can see here is the MiCASA GUI. So now we'll run that. Boom. And here we are. So MiCASA opens up a window, which is very straightforward. There are just a few steps that you have to follow. So in the MiCASA analysis, first we have to select how many conditions we want to compare. Here I'll select 2 conditions. I'm going to load the images, so it's actually going to ask us to load the 2 sets of images. The images that we have are RGB, so red, green, blue type images, and inside the MiCASA version 4 folder, is a folder that has wild type data. So this is some data that we analyzed as a control in our paper. And so I'm going to pick six images for condition 1. So you see here it says step 2, images loaded for condition 1, load images for next condition. So here we go, we're going to load the images for the next condition. So we're going to go back into wild type data. WT1 -1 through 6, those were one of the controls, and now we're going to compare to something else which actually should have the same features, because we're basically comparing two things that should be similar. So we're going to open those up, and then it just says run analysis. So there we go, it's starting to run the analysis. Now this is going to take a while, so I'm going to go away. Let me say before I do that, so right now, in order to make this this little tutorial, I'm running this on my laptop. Usually we run it on a server. In fact, the server we use has about 12 cores and about 256 gigs of memory. So it can, everything can be running on its own, in RAM, so to speak. There's no paging out or anything. If you have a smaller computer, it might take longer because it'll page out, and it also may take longer because it has fewer cores, depending on your setup. So I'll be back with the results from this analysis, and I'll show you then how to look at the results.